Hi, I'm Donna with Aging Advantage, and we are here today with another educational talk. We're going to have our very own Lila Shepley today talking about dementia. And these educational classes that we provide for you guys or for the community, they are opportunities to make connections with local resources that could help with food, housing, or isolation struggles post pandemic. And just bear with me, and here we go. We're going to go ahead and put our video up.
Hello, my name is Lila Shepley. I'm a certified geriatric care manager with A+ Aging Advantage and Aging Advantage. I'm also a certified Alzheimer's Poetry Project workshop facilitator. I received that certification in 2017 after extensive certification requirements from Gary Glansner, who created the Alzheimer's Poetry Project. I'm going to read to you their mission statement. The mission of Alzheimer's Poetry Project is to improve the quality of life for those people living with Alzheimer's disease and related dementias by facilitating creative expression through poetry. I heard him speak many years ago, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, and was so taken by what he has accomplished with those living with dementia, really bringing forth memories that their family members didn't even know about, eliciting responses out of those who had been fairly non-responsive. He is absolutely amazing at what he does, and so I wanted to give it a try. I was blessed enough to receive the certification and facilitated Alzheimer's Poetry Project workshops in many, many, many communities around the St. Louis area for years. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, during the pandemic, there have been none. So although we're supposed to memorize our poems, I actually, for this presentation, will be reading them because it's been a while since I've actually said them. Normally, this is a very interactive workshop with myself and the residents of that community. Since we're doing this on a video, please join in, interact. We can't see you, I can't see you, we can't see each other. So if you want to be silly with this and have fun with this, please do, because it's really a lot of fun. The workshops tend to be about 45 minutes, though they've been a little shorter, been a little longer. That depends on resident participation. It really does. My smallest workshops are usually 4 or 5 people. The biggest is 23. 23 is a lot. But this one particular group that pretty well hovered at the 20 to 23 mark, I saw them every single month for a long, long time. And I understood how that community worked. I understood the residents. I got to know a lot of the residents, even if they didn't remember me, that was okay. So I was able to facilitate that size group. Also, in that particular community, the resident assistants or the CNAs, sometimes, usually the activity director was present. So if I did need some assistance with juggling something, they were right there to help me out, which I appreciated. Other communities, it was me and them. So I had to be even more organized for those. Organization is the key. If you're going to be conducting anything like this, you've got to know everything ahead of time, have it lined up, ready to roll. Because in this position, you are, or I have been, the entertainer. I mean, it's me and them, and they're waiting for something fun to happen the entire time we're there. So I make sure that happens, and it is nothing but joy. It is absolute joy. So when I have a small group of 4 or 5, we sit at a round table, so we're all together, and there's touching and there's hugging, and we're together. If it's a larger group, anything over about 7 or 8, I start to create that U shape, the C shape, so that I'm kind of in the middle of them. and I can turn and look at each person individually rather than me at the end of the table and them down at the table. That always leaves those at the other end of the table out. You know, with a dementia, they can't stay with me, they can't stay focused. And it's not as enjoyable for them, obviously, if they can't stay with the program. So, and with that large group of 23, they were in a huge C shape. So it was a lot of movement for me, back and forth, round and round. We had such a good time though. So anyway, again, to the organization. So what I did was I created a theme for each month. Some themes were successful and some were not. And if they were not, I pitched. Not going to try it again. If it didn't work the first time, I'm not going to give it another chance. Because, again, these residents are wanting to have an enjoyable 45 minutes. And if they're not going to, then I'm going to get rid of it. There's lots of themes. So some of my themes, and we're going to go through them today because they're fun. Autumn, trees, winter, you know, obvious ones, spring, cars, Valentine's Day, strawberries. Strawberries is a good one. Celebration. I at Christmas, I tended to do more just kind of general holidays. So we would talk about Hanukkah and Christmas. Didn't keep it to one or the other. So, for example, for autumn, I created a little spreadsheet, and I wrote down on the spreadsheet the number of poems that I have for that day. I also wrote down snack. I would try to make the snack as appropriate to the theme as I could, and it needed to be offered at the dollar store. So I also have napkins and cups. Now, some communities provide all these, but I always had them in my little rolling suitcase just in case. Also for autumn, I brought a painting I'd done of a deer. It's very colorful, something I can pass around that they can actually touch. I got mums at the dollar store, leaves, a scarecrow. I brought gloves and a leaf bag, a candle that smelled like a pumpkin, and we're going to go through how to use all these in a little bit, and lotion that smelled like a pumpkin. All right, so even if you're just doing this at home with your family member, you can do this. You can do bits and pieces of this and have it be wonderful. And you don't have to do it all in one 45-minute session. You can do it spread out over a week or over a month. It's up to you. It's up to you. And that's what's such fun about this. You can really create what you want them to experience. Okay. So for autumn, so the poems, again, you're supposed to memorize them. It depends on your environment. It depends on if you can remember things. I have a little trouble with that. So that you can really act them out. You don't want to just speak a poem. So I'm going to read this two different ways. One is just speaking and one is fun. So the poem we're going to read today is Autumn. As autumn leaves fall all around, they make a blanket on the ground. When winter winds begin to blow, the roots are safe from freezing snow. That's not fun, that's not uplifting, and that will not engage residents with dementia or your family members with dementia. It won't. It'll actually kind of probably lull them to sleep. And even in the best circumstances, sometimes they fall asleep anyway, and that's okay. All right? It means they just need to shut it out for a bit. It's been a lot for them. So another way to say this poem is, as autumn leaves fall all around, they make a blanket on the ground. When winter winds begin to blow, the roots are safe from freezing snow. All right, and that's a lot more fun. So when I do the workshops, first of all, I always would get set up for this 15 minutes early. It's important, very important, because the minute they're seated, they're ready to go. So I would start off by saying, hi, I'm Lila. I met you all last month. And occasionally someone would say, oh, I remember, and most of them don't, and that's fine. And I'd say, we're going to do poetry today. And poetry, who cares, right? Well, now I care. But they look at me like, really, poetry? And I say to them, but we're going to have a lot of fun, and I really need you to join in so we make it fun for you and for everybody. And so they start getting excited. Then I say, today we're going to talk about autumn. And they all, autumn, 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 let them chat for a minute. And then I say, I'm going to read a poem, and then we're going to say the poem together. Well, they get a little concerned because they may not know the poem. You say, I'm going to help you through the whole thing. You don't have to remember the poem. And I say, I read through it. I say, as autumn leaves fall all around, they make a blanket on the ground. When winter winds begin to blow, the roots are safe from freezing snow. And I'm right there. I am acting it out. I am standing up. I'm very present with them. The next thing that that we do, those certified in this, is we ask for responses. So I go around the table. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed a piece. And I ask each resident right when they come in what their name is, and I write them down in order of how they're sitting, so that I can always call them by name when I'm asking them something. So I would start at the beginning and I would say, John, when you think of autumn, what do you think of? Well, at the beginning of this, memories really haven't been triggered yet. They're all going to say one of the things that we've just said, like leaves. Okay? And leaves, yeah, as autumn leaves. So, John, when you think of autumn, what do you think of? He says leaves. I write down leaves. The next one, Susan, when you think of autumn, what do you think of? Leaves. Well, this can go on for 23 people all the way around the room. Don't get discouraged. It's only just begun. Then we start talking about, I pull out one of the props. So, for example, I pull out some leaves I bought at the dollar store, different textures, different shapes, different colors. I pass them around. Don't expect them to pass them around. It depends on the level of the group. I pass them around. And as I'm passing them around, we're talking about them. And, oh, see how this has a point on the end and this one's turning orange, and just have fun with it, really explore it. So after we get through the leaves, then I might pull out the gloves and the leaf bag, because they thought it was hilarious trying to open up one of those paper leaf bags. Everyone has memories of that, right? You want to jump inside it. You can't get it to stay open. It falls over. So I'm doing all this in the middle. All right. So I'm actually an actress entertaining them, but they think it's hilarious. Now they're starting to remember things. All of a sudden, you start hearing little words or little bits of conversation going on about leaf bags and their memory of a leaf bag and how much they hated them, or they didn't use them because they didn't work. They used trash cans. Starts all these memories. It's really, really amazing and so much fun. Then we, let's say, pull out the mums, and did you have mums? And I pass the mums around, and we talk about if they planted them in front of their house and what their favorite color mums were. By this point, it's been a while. It's been probably 15 or 20 minutes, and they need a break. It's been a lot of action. It's been a lot of thinking. It's been a lot of memories. We have our little snack. So again, I brought apple Nutri-Grain bars and apple juice. Pass those around. You might have a resident that's good at helping, or you might have a staff member that's, right there ready to help. So we have our little snack, and we just let them eat. All right, they can really focus on one thing at a time. So while they're eating, you might want to talk about, oh, the apple bar tastes like apple pie. Does anyone like apple pie? But really just kind of let them eat for a minute and decompress, because then you're going to get started again, and more memories. Okay, so after they've eaten, then I might pull out the pumpkin scented candle, or pumpkin scented little wax melter, whatever you have, whatever they had that day at the dollar store. And I go around the room. Each one, John, what does this smell like to you? And I don't tell them what it is. And Susan, what does this smell like? And a lot of them will say, I can't remember or smelled that before, but they're not going to remember the word. The word's probably gone because of their dementia. When we get all the way around the room, even if someone said it right, all the way around the room, then I will say it's pumpkin, and Mary guessed it. Let's all clap for Mary, and everyone says, "Yay, Mary!" And it's very exciting. It is exciting. They think that's fun. Then we do. So now we've been doing a lot of visual learning, memories, a lot of. We've had some taste. We've had some auditory. We've had some olfactory, if that's what it's called. Now we're going to do touch. And so I have the pumpkin scented lotion. Never put lotion on the insides on their palms. They don't like that at all. They will start to wipe it on their clothes, wipe it. It gets them a lot of them very agitated. If they do want it on their palms, they'll touch it from the back of their hand and put it there themselves. Okay, so I go around the room. John, would you like a little pumpkin scented hand massage? Well, who would say no to that? Even the guys absolutely love it. I make it a lot of fun. It takes some time, but they wait very patiently because they want their hand massage. And I just put a little bit on the back and I do a little rub, and then I do the other side and I do a little rub, and they get so relaxed and they love it. And they sniff it and it's so much fun. And we talk about the pumpkin smell again. Now it's time to pull it all together. And this is where it's super fascinating. Is we're going to say the poem again. So I tell them, now it's time for us to write a poem together. And there's some panic. It's like, don't worry about that. I'm going to pull it together. I'm going to write down some things you say, and that'll create the poem. And when we're finished writing our poem, we're going to ask the staff to come in, and we're going to recite it for them. Okay. So we go back through. And now they're pretty engaged. They trust me. They know we're having fun. Any little barriers they had up, for the most part, are down. They're completely in this. Now they're getting tired, though, so it's time to wrap it up. Okay, it's been about 40, 45 minutes. We're all tired. And they start to get really, really engaged. So I say, as autumn leaves fall all around, and you'll see them doing the same thing. They make a blanket on the ground, and they'll be doing that. And when winter winds begin to blow, the roots are safe from freezing snow. Give it a pause. Then you go back around the room with your little list, and you say, John, when you think of autumn, what do you think of? I remember my dad hated raking the leaves, and he would pay us to rake the leaves. And someone else would say, my mom never ever raked the leaves. She made my dad do it. And it's really interesting. And, you know, they might not be speaking in full sentences. Some might just be words. Some might say the same thing I said before. So then you verify, well, you said leaves before. Well, that's it. It's amazing. Absolutely brings tears to your eyes. The memories that they will come up with. Amazing. So when they write their poem, though, so now I've written down their responses. Now we go back to the poem, the original poem. And I will say, as autumn leaves fall all around, and I will look at John and I will fill in right there what he said. I remember raking the leaves with my dad. They make a blanket on the ground. My dad hated raking leaves, and he paid us. And I would kind of imitate the way they said it too, and they thought that was hilarious. Got them very involved. So we would go through it one time, then hopefully 1 or 2 or 5 staff members would come in, and we'd read the whole thing again with me interjecting their new responses, even if I had to go through this little bitty poem 5 times. All right, so that's how the poetry workshop goes. Tremendous amounts of fun. Some other ideas if you're going to do this at home with mom, or if you go visit mom at the nursing home and you need a little activity. Some other ideas that they love, big ones: trees, right? Huge. They all knew this poem. It was fascinating. And so I would say today's Trees by Joyce Kilmer. I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray. Well, let me tell you, they know it, they love it, they remember it almost immediately. So for trees, I would talk about things besides the obvious tree things. I brought a laminated picture that I got off Google. I laminated it of a cherry blossom tree because it was pretty and colorful. Okay. I also brought pictures of regular trees. I brought I had a carved Gabon ebony elephant from West Africa. So I don't take things they can't touch. I let them all touch it. It was very smooth and it was beautiful. And some of them wanted to learn more about that kind of wood. So I'd done some research, thankfully. Let's see, I pulled in some different scents like scentsy icy pine, cherry blossom, different scent things you can pick up, again, dollar store. Cherry blossom lotion, leaf shapes again, and I had a cross made out of colorful paper. It was fascinating. It was beautiful, little work of art, and I would pass that around and they'd love it. Some other ideas for trees. What else makes wood? Well, I have a drum. And this is obviously wood, and this is wood. So I would hold this because it's precious to me, but I would let them bang on the drum. And then we can talk about drums some too. How fun is that? And see some other things, and this doesn't have to do with trees. These are just to get your creativity going. I have a little angel made out of wire. It's a different texture than anything else they've probably touched that day. Love it. They love things like this. I have a little turtle. Well, besides the colors and the texture, which is smooth and fun, this is made out of flip-flops in Africa. I mean, how absolutely fabulous is this? So this, I would let them go. No, go around the room. That's fine. Candles. What do you have around? Do you have scented candles from Christmas? Flowers? Whatever. Bring it. Let them smell it. This is glass. I would hang on to this one in particular. The little glass ones at the dollar store, though, I didn't hang on to. I let them do that. And then when we talk about Christmas, here's a reindeer. This is made in, I don't know what country, another country, but it has little beads on it and all different kinds of fabrics and things they can touch. I would hold this and we would go around the room together while they touched. I mean, that was fine. Again, I don't bring anything they can't touch. Some other ideas, winter. Winter was really fun. The streetcars, see, there you go. Going to trigger some memories with this one. By Dorothy Aldi, I think. The streetcars are like frosted cakes, all covered up with cold snowflakes. The horses' hooves scrunch on the street. Their eyelashes are white with sleet, and everywhere the people go, with faces tickled by the snow. Love, and they know that one. They know that one, and it triggers memories. Another winter one was A Wintry Night by Lindsay Kuster. The sky is dark and the ground is white. The world is peaceful on this wintry night. For a moment, it's just the snow and me. I smile inside. I feel so free. If you're going to read one that's got that kind of emotional trigger in it, it's a good time to pause and ask them, do you remember being outside at night when it was snowing? Do you remember how free that felt and how peaceful and how quiet? And they'll start talking because by that point they're remembering some things. And then you come up with snacks and props. And so what would be a good snack? Hot chocolate. I wouldn't try that with a big group, but hot chocolate that's not hot, chocolate milk maybe with a marshmallow in it. Props would be, what, scarves and a snow shovel and mittens and gloves and that kind of thing. So you know what to bring for those. Another big one, for example, if you need some more ideas, spring and the spring poem. And I have these all of them off Google, all of them. Lots of research, but that's where I got them. Spring, spring is coming soon. Grass is green and the flowers bloom. Birds returning from the south. Bees are buzzing all about. Leaves are budding everywhere. Spring, spring is finally here. Love that one. For that, again, the snacks don't always go with the theme because you can't always think of something, but crackers and then Sunny D, dollar store. Plastic flowers. I had a painting of wildflowers that I could pass around. They could touch. It had some texture. They thought that was fun. Another flower painting, laminated flower pictures, lavender soap that they could smell and touch, lavender lotion, and again, cherry blossom wax scent, and you could use the cherry blossom lotion as well because they're not going to remember and they're going to love it. So they don't care. They want to have fun and they want to be having this relationship with you. And that's really probably what I've been saying this whole time. You need to really connect with each person. You need to know their name. You need to remember where they're sitting. You need to refer back to them. There's always one or two or five in the group that want that constant connection and they're silly and they're fun and they keep it going. They're not just staring at you. They really are interacting the whole time. Another is cars. Cars, I didn't think the ladies would like cars. I thought the 4 guys out of 23 would like the cars. They love the cars. Love all of them. Every one of them. They were going back to their first kiss in the car. They were going back to their first car. Love the cars. And they love the little poem, Vroom Vroom. Vroom Vroom, zoom, zoom, little car. How I wonder where you are. Driving down the streets all day, stop then go, you never stay. Vroom, vroom, zoom, zoom, little car. How I wonder where you are. And then again, go around the room. John, when you think of cars, what do you think of? Susan, when you think of cars, what do you think of? Mary, when you think of cars. And they might just say car, 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 car. But remember, at the end, they're going to be talking about what their first car was, what color it was, if they've never driven. You're going to be hearing completely different answers after you've awakened all of their senses and their memories. So for cars, cookies and juice, I mean, what goes with cars, right? And then at the dollar store, I got some car washing sponges. I got an oil can. They love that. That wasn't at the dollar store. That was at Walmart. I went to Firestone and I got some pieces of tire. They're these little hunks of the smelliest little black rubbery tires. And they gave those to me from Firestone. And that's what I would pass around. And John, what do you think this is? Susan, what do you think? Nobody would guess. And when they heard it was a tire, and that I'd gone to Firestone and I'd asked for a tire for my poetry group, they thought that was hilarious. Okay, tire, Firestone. I had a painting of a blue pickup truck that was 3D, they could touch, fun. I also bought a handful of Hot Wheels cars. I mean, who doesn't love Hot Wheels cars, right? And I got some of the vroom vroom little speedy kind. I also took a couple of stores, but I found some that would bring back memories of years ago for them. I tried to get back, maybe to their, I don't know, 20s, 30s, a variety of little trucks and cars, and huge hit. We'll just do a couple more little themes here, and then we'll wind it up. Another is Valentine's Day. Obviously, love, love, right? My love it, and they know this poem, so better not get your words wrong because they know it. My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love is like a melody that's sweetly played in tune. They know that. They love it. The beach, another theme. And here's some of the answers I got before. So when I put my finger up, this is what their response was at the end of a session. Come to the beach. I think of my honeymoon. I think of sand. Where the sea is blue, the large waves coming in, and the little white waves come running at you. There are penguins. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. A wave comes splashing over your toes. I think of nighttime and the sound of the waves. You stand still and away it goes. It makes me seasick. We build a castle down by the sea and walk in the sand and look for shells if you'll come with me. To watch the surfers. I just love it. Well, I can tell you at the beginning of each, none of that. None of that. It was probably if the poem was about beach, then they were just saying one of those words, sand, beach, sand, beach. So pretty amazing what comes at the end of a session. Another was strawberries. Strawberries are huge, but there's a blessings on the little man, the barefoot boy. They know that one. Deep blue sea. You know, you could bring little fish and all sorts of things. And then celebration was a big one. We did celebration rather than like a New Year's Eve. And it was celebrating who we are and celebrating love and celebrating, well, it was mainly just celebrating us. So I'm going to read you that last poem and we'll wrap it up. A celebration of life. Gather round and celebrate the joy that has been given. A gift of love, of flesh and blood, a tiny bit of heaven. Yes, gather round and celebrate the life that has been given. A gift of love, of hope eternal, or a tiny bit of heaven. I hope you've enjoyed learning about poetry and how it benefits those living with dementia. And even if you only remember one little thing from all of this, it's about the connection and the relationship. Thank you very much. Hello, my name is Lila.
Well, hello. Thank you very much for that, Miss Lila. That was really, really good. I know Lila was making me hungry with all the describing of the different fruits and things. It was really neat. I really enjoyed that. I feel like now I know how to write a poem. How about that now, you know? So what really good information. I appreciate that time and opportunity, Lila. And we have somebody here that wants to share a comment, and they say it's amazing how repetition and music impact the brain. Music is actually one of the last parts of the brain to be impacted by dementia, so it can help to play music. There are all kinds of studies that show how people remember more after hearing their favorite songs, and that is so true. I know oftentimes we talk, or I've said in the past to people, like, you know how when you go in different grocery stores and especially Walmart, they're playing a music or a tune, and you're just shopping and you're listening, and then by the time you leave, you're in your car, you're driving, you're still singing that song or that tune, not realizing, like, where did I hear that from? It's because that's what you heard, you know, back in the store. It's been times that I will go to sleep with music playing, and all night long, even the next morning, the music, probably, I don't know what time it been in stop, but I'm able to recite some of those words and songs the next day. It's still like, oh, okay. Yeah. And it's very peaceful too at the same time. That is so true. Repetition and music, oh my God, those are big impacts on the brain and how it can actually um, keep you to remember. And so I take it. So again, if there are other questions or comments, I want to thank you guys for your time and opportunity to allow us to share with you once again. And you guys have a great day. Thank you for your time. Bye.